Good afternoon, everybody, and a warm welcome to the University of the Highlands and Islands Open Day. Thank you very much for joining us here at the Scottish Association for Marine Science, which we call SAMS for short. And this is where we run the UHI Marine Science degree programme. My name is Pauline Clifford. I am the marketing manager for SAMS. I'm just going to go over a couple of things today before we start. First of all is privacy. We can't see you. You're all joining us today. We can't see you or hear you. But we do have a Q&A function which should be in the top right of your screen at the moment. Please ask any questions throughout the webinar today if you have any questions, and we will do our very best to answer them. You should see that there's some of the questions are published in a features tab, and you also have a tab for your questions as well. So some of them are published for the whole group to see, so just remember not to put any personal details in there. And also this webinar is recorded today, so you will be able to access the recording afterwards if you want to go back, and it's very easy. All you have to do is click the link that you joined this webinar with, and you will be able to watch it back. So I'm going to just start here. So first of all, I'm going to introduce you to our team. I'm going to start with Darcie, who is our second year student. If you can give us a little wave. Oh. Hello. There we are. This is Darcie here. We also have Nadja. Hey. Nadja is calling in from Germany at the moment. Nadja is from Germany, so thank you very much, Nadja, for calling in today. And we have Polly here. Polly is in student services. We also call her campus mum as well. She's the one that helps us all. She is the one that helps all the students out. She's fantastic. And Polly's going to help answer some frequently asked questions at the end. And we also have Arlene, who is joining us today from her annual leave, I might add. So thank you very much, Arlene, for joining us today. Arlene is the Deputy Programme Leader as well, so she'll be able to help answer any questions if people have any in the Q&A function.
Hello and welcome.
So where are we? So just to go over what we're going to cover today. So we're just going to actually talk you through a bit about SAMS first and about our campus and location, what you learn here, what student life is like here as well. And then Darcie and Nadja are going to get personal and tell us a bit about their personal experience of SAMS as well. So without further ado, I'm going to pass over to Nadja now, who is going to start off with telling us a little bit about SAMS. Thanks, Nadja.
Thank you, Pauline. Thank you very much. Thanks everyone for joining today. SAMS has come a long way since some of its roots lie in the Challenger expedition, which happened late in the 19th century. And today it's the longest continuous marine research institute of the UK. We provide research, education and enterprise to discover, describe and develop a way to sustainably use the seas and the oceans. The new strategy just recently launched under the name of Oceans in Balance. We are a worldwide active research institution from the Arctic to the tropics to Antarctica, from the shores and rocky seas to the deep sea, and from the molecular level to entire ocean basin scales. We are an academic partner of the University of the Highlands and Islands, short UHI, which is based in Inverness. That's on the east coast of Scotland. And SAMS itself is located in Dumbeg, which is close to the small town of Oban. That's on the west coast of Scotland. now I pass on to Darcie.
Thank you, Nadja. So there are lots of reasons to choose SAMS as your university. So firstly, we have the very impressive statistic of 100% student satisfaction from the NSS 2020 survey. So as you can tell, it's not just us. All of our students really love the course. We are located just meters from the sea. In the photo of the background of this slide, you can see the building there. That is where we get taught, where we have our labs and where we eat lunch. It is where everything happens, and you can see it is literally right on the sea. We have really small class sizes, and they are like maximum kind of like 32 students, but down to like only a few individual students in a class when you specialize later on. And you get taught by active researchers. So the thing that I find so cool is that you have researchers who are at the top of their game, and they come over from the research building where they've been doing this amazing science. They come over, they teach us for an hour, and then they go back and do research. So it really is on the front lines of science. We have really diverse modules, especially in the 3rd and 4th year, where you have lots of choices in your modules, but you can really, unlike just a marine biology degree, there's a really big range of what you can learn about the ocean here. As I said previously, there's lots of active research going on at SAMS, which means we have amazing facilities for research. And we've also got some really unique opportunities at SAMS. For example, the degree courses to go to the Arctic, or to have your robotics and oceanography degree. And we also, because we're part of an active research facility and right on the ocean, we have so many opportunities for field trips and other research during our degrees. And now I'll pass back to Nadja to talk about the campus.
Thank you, Darcie. This picture shows you our view from the student building that was just in the picture before, and I guarantee you get never tired of it. It changes every day with the tides and the weather, and it's just magnificent. That's where we have lunch, just to let you know. Next slide, please. Our campus is separated in 3 main buildings. The first one is SAMS Enterprise, which you can see in the upper left picture in the background, the grey building. The next one is SAMS Research Building, which you can see in the lower right. That's also the building that you see as you come onto site. And last but not least, our Education and Study Building, which is the bright white one in the upper left and also in the lower left. In the student building, we have lectures, we have our lunch and coffees. We have microwave toasters and vending machines, of course, and fridges. We also have quiet rooms, computer rooms, and our teaching labs. In the research building, however, we've got a library for every student to use. Next slide, please. Here you can see our research labs. That's actually taken during an open day where we had visitors. Next slide, please. During the 4-year undergrad course, we develop a strong community between all our students, with about 40% international students. And we all have one thing in common, which is we're all called ocean nerds by one of our classmates. Next slide, please. Just to introduce you to the town of Oban, which is about a 20-minute journey from SAMS. It's a small town with about 8,000 residents, and it's known for a seafood capital and the gateway to the Isles of Scotland. Most of the time, the weather is not as bright. It's more likely to be like the picture on the right, unfortunately, but it's still very pretty and beautiful. The life in Oban is big on the outdoors. From Oban, you get to embrace the remoteness of Scotland, as you can see here. And I pass back on to Darcie.
So about the actual degree, it is a 4-year course, and I'll just take you through some of the things you learn throughout that. Could we? So we have 3 different streams. We have the standard marine science stream, then we have the marine science with Arctic studies stream, and we have the marine science with oceanography and robotics degrees. But all 3 of these, there are no other marine science courses in Scotland, and the other 2 are rather unique in the world. So we have some great opportunities here. So in your first year, we study the fundamentals of different subjects. So as you can see, the fundamentals of marine biology, physics, chemistry, geology are the main 4 fundamentals. And in those ones, we learn, you know, they're related to the oceans, the way it's taught. However, the focus is on the key things you need to know to later apply the subject more broadly to the ocean. Usually, most people will have studied 1 or 2 of these subjects to quite a high level. For me, that was biology and maths, and they'll find those ones a bit easier. And then there are other subjects that they maybe haven't studied in ages, for me, chemistry and geology, that are going to be a bit more tricky. But the result of that is that it's a nice balance where everyone has kind of a manageable workload. We also have a marine field course in first year, which is probably the best module I've ever taken. You go out on our research vessel Calanus for the day. You take lots of measurements and do a lot of science. You spend the next week in the lab analysing all your data and, you know, looking at the fish you caught and things, and then you can choose to write up a few of those, so that's very fun. Yeah. Then in second year is the first time where we get to choose some modules. So we have our 3 optional modules. So you choose one of these. You can choose Advanced Mathematics and Programming, which anyone can choose. But if you want to do the Robotics and Oceanography pathway, you do have to choose that one. We also have Marine Resources, which I must say is one of the most fascinating things I've ever seen. I did Advanced Mathematics and Programming because I want to do the robotics pathway, but the resources thing was so fun that I went to a lot of their lectures just for fun because it was really enjoyable. I mean, the title Ocean Nerd really hits home for me, and that's really interesting. It's all about how we use the ocean and what it can provide for us, and, you know, so many different things, from whaling to fisheries and mining, so many interesting things. And there's also biochemistry and molecular biology, which really gets down into the tiny stuff, which SAMS is also really specialised in, given its algal culture collection and lots of work. In second year, you also do a lot of the same subjects as you do in first year, but at a much higher level and much more applied to the ocean. And I have to say, they, like, on paper they sound quite similar, but wow, they are very different to first year. In first year, I really struggled with fundamentals of marine chemistry. I thought it was quite difficult because I had not done that in forever. And in second year, chemical oceanography is so interesting and I really love it. And it's like now kind of become a bit of a passion for me. I really love chemical oceanography. So it's, yeah, they're really interesting modules where you learn more and more about the ocean specifically. Then in third year, do we have that slide? Yes, so in third year you have 5 modules. So in third and fourth year, essentially, if you're not doing a stream, if you're just doing the marine science degree, you can choose anything you want, essentially. If you are doing one of the streams, there is a little bit less flexibility, but you still have plenty of choice. So in third year, you do a literature review, which is where you go through and you have a specific topic and a supervisor, and you will go through and you will learn everything there is to know about that topic in published research and create a big review of that. And yeah, that's an excellent opportunity. You also have 5 optional modules. So there's tons of things in there: marine pollution, marine conservation, marine robotics, biotechnology. There's so many options in third year. And then in fourth year, you do a research dissertation, which goes across the entire year. So it counts for like 2 modules essentially, as we do 6 a year. And so the dissertation is, again, it's similar to Lit Review in that you have your supervisor, but in this you actually do your own research project and produce novel research. You also choose 4 optional modules, and there are so many options. I should say if you want to do one of the streams, there is a little bit less flexibility, but still plenty. Can we go to the next slide? So the assignments, I know this is something I was concerned about when I first came, which is why we've included it. So for most modules, especially in first year, about 40% of your grade is from an exam and the rest is from continuous assessments. This can vary between modules. First year, I believe they're all like this except for field course, where it's 100% continuous assessment. However, it's generally more focused on continuous assessment. Those assessments can include scientific papers where we will go out to the field, take samples, analyze them in the lab, do data analysis, review all the surrounding literature, and produce a scientific paper in the same kind of style as ones you would find in published journals. With COVID, the way that this has happened, at least for me and my lecturers would have given me, is they just have given us past year's data sets, so we can do every bit of the experience except the field and lab work, because obviously can't really social distance there. We also have mid-semester tests for some modules, and these, I mean, I'm not going to say they're easy by any means. However, if you keep on top of your studies and are a diligent student, they shouldn't pose too much of an issue. Occasionally we have things like essays and presentations and other assignments. However, most of our continuous assessments fall into the category of a paper or a mid-semester test. Our exams are generally around an hour and a half long, and they're usually closed book in an exam hall, well, not exam hall, in a big classroom. However, that becomes an exam hall for a few weeks of the year. However, at the moment, because of COVID, what we do is we have open book timed exams. We have a bit more time for those ones, and they're generally similar enough to the original exams in their structure, and I mean, you have an open book and you can have snacks, which for me at least made them far less stressful than the traditional exams. So our 2 streams, I'll just quickly talk about them. We've got the Oceanography and Robotics degree. And this one is, so your first 2 years are kind of similar to everyone else. In your second semester of your second year, you do have to take advanced mathematics and programming. Third year is where it gets intense. You have to do your literature review on a topic around oceanography, robotics, numerical modeling, things like that. And your modules, you have to take what's it called? Marine instrumentation and data, marine robotics, ocean circulation and climate, and then you have 2 optional modules left that you can choose from any other module that's available. And then in 4th year, I can't remember exactly what ones, but there are a few mandatory modules, as well as doing your dissertation on a oceanography or robotics topic. The other path we have, the other specialised stream, is the Marine Science with Arctic Studies. So this one is a very, very attractive one to many students, because part of it is you go up and you study in Svalbard at the University Centre in Svalbard, UNIS, in the high Arctic for either 6 months or a year in your 3rd year of university. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. And there are 1 or 2 optional modules you have to take in 3rd and 4th year, I believe. And your literature review and your dissertation has to be in an Arctic topic. However, yeah, that's a really attractive course that many people choose. We also have in the main marine science stream, we also have a few more exchange options. Any exchange that you do is in your 3rd year, but we also have partnerships with Coastal Carolina university in America, where if you're interested in some more kind of tropical things, they do a lot of that, but they've got a broad range of things you can choose from there. So if you want to spend, you know, a semester or two in America, that's an option. And we also have a relationship with, I think it's called VHL in the Netherlands, where you can do a sustainable aquaculture or a sustainable coastal something or other, where you get to go and study in the Caribbean for a few weeks. As another cool experience. So those are the different streams. In terms of careers, as you probably know, there are quite a lot of careers in marine science. Here are just a few of them, and SAMS really does its best to support us in getting to those careers. As I said before, it's an active research institution, which means there are lots of research experience opportunities from across the road. We have about, I believe, 150 staff, and in undergraduate we have just over 100 students. So there is a really good ratio. Not all those staff are scientists, but we've still got a really good ratio of scientists to students. So there are lots of opportunities available. I know both myself and Nadja have taken advantage of some of those. There are also conferences and training events. So we've had the Porcupine conference, and we've had a few different conferences at SAMS recently, and a few were upcoming, but you know, COVID. And we also have different training events that are held. So for example, Orca, or one that both Nadja and myself took advantage of, was the Hebridean Whale and Dolphin Trust came and did a training event at SAMS, and because of that we were able to go on a free 4 day sailing trip around the Hebrides to look for whales. We found one disgruntled dolphin, but nevertheless it was still very fun. We also have seminars that we can attend. These are very common at scientific institutions, where researchers will share their research with their colleagues. And although they are mainly focused towards researchers, we are very encouraged and welcome to join those, which are great for a future scientific career. Each student is also assigned a personal academic tutor who is a researcher in the other building, and they will help with your academics and career development and just any other issues you're having. And I personally have found that my poor academic tutor, I've asked her to write me so many reference letters for internships and scholarships and things, but they really do a great job in supporting students. And we also have from time to time employability seminars, which are things like how to write your CV and how to interview for jobs. So overall, there are a ton of support that we are given in terms of developing our careers. So we don't just have a degree, but we can go on and be proper scientists. So now on to Nadja for student life.
Okay, thank you, Darcie. That was brilliant. I'm going to introduce you to the sporty life, I would almost say, because life in Oban is very much centered around outdoor sports. First of all, there's our UHI Wind and Wave Club, which is the sailing club. They are based in Oban, and for the second time in a row, they are voted Club of the Year by our student association, HISA. They provide all level sailing, so if you've never been on a boat before, you can jump right on. And you can also learn how to drive power boats, which is quite good to know. They participate in sailing races all across Scotland, and the furthest away they've been is actually to Ireland. Second club is our university diving club, which is called HISAC. It stands for Highlands and Islands Sub-Aqua Club. We're based at SAMS, and we're a university branch of the British Sub-Aqua Club, the British diving operator. We provide diving, fun diving and training in cold water, I have to say, but all around Oban. It's right on our doorstep, where we have brilliant diving where people all over the world come to. We have rental equipment, and we have a partnership with the local diving center, where we get more rental equipment and some discounts on gear. Next slide, please. Last but not least, we have our SAMS UHI Climbing Club. They go on weekly climbs at the National Climbing Facility, which is about 1 hour drive away from Oban. If you're keen to try out ice climbing, you can do it there. All levels of climbing are supported. If you've never been up the boulder wall before, go and try it. It's great fun. They also have put together outdoor events sometimes, and we have a small boulder cube in Oban. Okay, next slide, please. To introduce you a bit more to Oban itself, here you can see the beautiful bay with the ferries. There are lots of sports opportunities, from a small swimming pool to dance classes. There are restaurants and pubs, of course, cafes. We have a cinema, and we've got events like concerts and DJs coming around. We have lots of ceilidhs. Ceilidhs are typical Scottish dances and great fun. We have big Christmas spectacles every year. We also have a second college, which is called Argyll College. It's also part of UHI. Oban is famous for its own whiskey distillery, and as we said before, is the gateway to the Isles. So if you want to visit the Hebridean Islands, you come to Oban to take the ferry and then you're good to go. Next slide, please. As we moved online, all our club life and social life moved online with it. We had picture competitions at SAMS in the student community. We have a great Facebook interaction. We have club events with quizzes, seminars, or online theory lectures. And next semester, I can already say, we have 2 quite exciting opportunities coming up. We are introducing so-called student families, where new students are put into families with already studying people, and you just get together in Oban if you want to and have dinner together, or just be in touch closer than just being in one big group of people. And second is a big inter-club cup. I'm just going to say Hogwarts, so to give you an idea what I mean. Basically, the clubs are going to compete and collect points, and I'm quite excited to launch this. And that's me. Darcie, your turn again.
Okay, so back to my journey to get to SAMS. So to give some context of like my life and who I am and why I decided on this topic, I'm technically from Northern Ireland, but as you can probably tell from my accent, I haven't lived there long. When I was very young, my family moved to subtropical Australia, where we lived in bushland right by the sea. And so every morning my chore before school was to collect native frogs and make sure, you know, get them out of the pool. And we had like ones that we would rescue and raise up until they were ready to be released, and had buckets of hundreds of frogs. And then I'd get on the school bus and we'd see humpback whales breaching and migrating past us. So like it was quite a wild place, and I really don't understand how anyone could grow up there and not want to dedicate their life to animals and to the environment. So at the ripe old age of 7, I decided to be a zoologist, and up until I was like 17 or 18, I never really changed this. When I did my A-levels, and I did one in marine science, then one in biology and maths. And the marine science one really stuck with me. I was like kind of homeschooling, self-studying these subjects, which is why I got to choose such a cool A-level that I know many people don't have the opportunity to do. It was very fun. Yeah, so I decided to change my pathway to marine science or marine biology, but I'd applied for zoology courses in my UCAS. So through clearing, I found SAMS, and once I realized that it was a research institution and everything, I knew it was the right place for me. I applied and I was accepted, and my life changed overnight. At this time, my entire family was moving from Ireland to Scotland, and so on a Saturday, we, drove from Dublin up, got the ferry and came over with all our belongings and moved into our new house. And on Sunday in the mid-afternoon, my mum drove me up to Oban. And so the first time I went into SAMS was for a chemistry lecture. It was very sudden. But this photo actually here is of me on my second or third day when we went and did beach bingo, and we did a rocky shore exercise, which was very fun. So now I really couldn't see myself anywhere else. It took a few weeks probably to settle in properly, just because I wasn't there for Freshers Week and because life had just been so insanely stressful the month before. But now I really couldn't imagine myself anywhere else. I do lots of beach cleans and rock pooling, and I love seeing the local area. SAMS has also got me to some great places. I am on the World Oceans Day Youth Advisory Council, where I work on science communication and ocean conservation projects. I also volunteer with an organisation called IUD Europe, where I'm currently organising a high-level environmental panel between policymakers and youth change makers. That'll happen in September. So it's been really great that I've been able to do this advocacy work as well as keep up my studies. And I have to say I don't do as much of the, going out to pubs and going on hikes and things as many of the other students, because as I mentioned before, I'm a massive nerd. I really enjoy my studies. I really enjoy writing papers and making sure I get everything right. So I absolutely love it. I feel like we got such a great, unique opportunity, and it feels like you're doing really practical research. I'm also at the moment doing an internship with a researcher in New Zealand, so that's fun. So that's a bit of my story.
Thank you, Darcie. Now, just a bit about myself. I'm born in Augsburg, which is in southern Germany, which is pretty landlocked here, as far as I can see. My first connection to the sea, that I remember, is via a TV show called H2O, and I guess many of you know it. It's about 3 girls becoming mermaids when they touch water. I was 11 or 12 years old or something. I still remember it today, and there's a picture on the slide if you have a keen eye. I went on a holiday to Croatia with my mom, and that's where we first saw wild dolphins, and it's a mesmerizing remembrance to see them. I also got my diving license when I was 14 years old, so that's when I really started to embrace this passion for the sea, and I wanted to continue with it. Graduated from high school in 2016 in Germany, but I went to a trip to New Zealand to do some work and travel. But I worked in a diving center there, which it was very busy, let's say that way. But I got to do my dive master, and I was certain about this marine life that I wanted to have. I knew I wanted to study in English. No, slide before. Sorry. I knew I wanted to study in English because of the international level in the research and in the science community, and I knew I wanted to study abroad because abroad I was able to specialize quicker in the marine environment than in the German university system. And as I went to New Zealand, I already knew about SAMS via quite nice connection. So my hometown, Augsburg, is a partner city to Inverness, and Inverness, of course, is the base of UHI. So that's how I found out about it. And also, Scotland is much closer to Germany, to home for me, than it would be the case if I was in North America or Australia or somewhere else studying. Next slide now. Cool. In summer 2018, I worked in Croatia in a diving center as a guide and dive master. I already had sent my application to SAMS, which was a big pack of lots of paper. It went to UHI headquarters in Inverness, and I think they forwarded to SAMS or something. But I was very excited as I got the message that I am accepted. And then I started my planning to find a flat online, which I succeeded in. I was very lucky, I have to say. I'm still in that flat today with a flatmate, and I love it. I had some doubts about studying marine science instead of focusing on marine biology, but later to that more. Next slide, please. I arrived in Oban in September 2018 for Freshers Week with my dad. It was very welcoming. We met so many people in such a short time, and we got so much information in such a short time, but it was an amazing experience. We had a dry suit course, which was my first dive in cold water, and it's freezing. However, October is about the warmest it gets. We went on hikes, we had seminars, and the curiosity just kept on growing to get to know SAMS and all the other students. It's like if you step into a new family when you arrive at SAMS, because I had so much information in my application. Polly just came up to me and she already knew everything about me because she read probably every word of it. But it's great because it's just like our second mom. And a few weeks in the course, all my doubts are gone, because now we get to understand the importance of the relations between the physics, the chemistry, geology, and biology, and all the animals that live in the sea. And to quote one of our lecturers, Marie, it's important to understand the system if you want to understand the animal in it. So that's quite a handful. In first year, I, as Darcie mentioned before, got to go on the HWDT sailing trip, and in the picture in the middle, you can see that one dolphin we spotted. And I also got to attend an international conference in Greece, which I organized myself with funding. I was quite proud of it. And I also got to publish an article about this trip in the SAMS magazine online, which was published like a month ago or something. It's very exciting. Next slide, please. In second year, I started being heavily involved in the diving club, and I started to be a SAMS ambassador, which brings us all to this very webinar today. And my interests are still quite similar to what I started with coming to SAMS. I want to be involved in conservation, but I would like to work with bioacoustics. That's when you use a hydrophone to listen to everything that happens under the sea, from ship noise to earthquakes to snapping shrimp to coral reefs, which are actually really loud, or to blue whale songs, which are mesmerizing. Okay, and I think I am passing on to Polly now.
Sorry, Pauline here. Sorry, I'll just pass you over to Polly now, who's going to do some FAQs with us now. So, okay. Polly, over to you.
Hi there. So it's just to say again, like everyone has, welcome and thank you for joining in with us today. It's very surreal. Normally I'm doing an open day or something like this to kind of 60 faces, so it's very, very strange to not be able to know who's on the other end. There's been quite a few questions come through, so please keep them going. We're trying hard to spell everything correctly and answer everything that we can. But just now, the frequently asked questions are things like, what are our entry requirements? So they are stated on our website. We do have some standard entry requirements. They would be for Scottish students who are taking hires. They would be 3Bs at a higher level. We do usually ask, for at least 2 sciences. So the sciences can be anything from the standard sciences, including maths. Sometimes students take things like environmental science as well. For A levels, we ask for BCC in A levels, and again, the same thing applies. We also have students entering into our first year with HNCs, usually from an applied science route. So we usually ask for a pass in the HNC with a B. And then there's lots of standard entries for kind of EU students and things as well. So any questions, check out our website, but also you can email our admissions team to ask for questions if you're doing something like an IB, or if you're coming from Germany, like Nadja did as well, just with different types of qualifications. So a little bit on student accommodation, we do have student accommodation. Obviously this year is very different under the kind of COVID-19 restrictions. Majority of our students will be staying away for the first part of the semester. We have on-site accommodation at the moment, and this isn't open at the moment, but we obviously are reviewing this throughout the year. So the students from September will be undertaking blended learning and not moving to the area. But if anyone's holding any offers, if everybody's been contacted to ask if they would like their name added to the accommodation waiting list. So once the accommodation is able to open, we hope to be able to offer people spaces. Oban, probably like Nadja said, is a touristy town, so there are always quite good accommodation opportunities. A lot of our students kind of maybe take up our own accommodation first, and then they kind of meet each other and decide who they do and don't want to live with, and then move out into the wider community. And that's always really, really nice as well, just getting people kind of instilled in that community as well, because it is a small town, so it's quite nice for people to be able to do that. Student funding wise, obviously if you're a Scottish student, you'll be entitled to SAMS, so please look at their website and make sure that you apply for any fee help there, and any help as well if you are looking at loans, student loans or anything like that. Same applies for Student Finance England. Any documentation or anything like that would need to be sent on to the university, so again, once you become a student, we can give you full information on that. The funding for European students does unfortunately change after this year. We are still accepting applications for this year from any students, but we do encourage, if you're an EU student, it may be better if you're thinking about applying to think about it this year, because obviously after our Brexit transition, we may have a different level of entry for students from EU. So the costings will be different, so they won't be available to have fees paid by SAS, and obviously they may require visas and travel restrictions and things. So if anyone has any questions on that, we'll try and help you as best we can, but obviously the government advice is moving quite quickly and quite differently on that as well. Probably just still said it, there are still spaces available for September 2020. It is quite close, but Darcie was very close last year, the year before, so we do accept students as long as they can make it and connect with us. And obviously this year we are going to be online, so it's slightly easier. Maybe that rush to move here isn't going to be as quick. So if you are still thinking and trying to make up your mind, please contact one of us, just have a little bit of a chat and see what we can do. So the plans for semester one, as the girls have said, are very different. We made the decision, along with a lot of UHI partners, to actually teach online for our first semester. So that'll be right up until the end of December, and the students have a small break, and then they would come back the end of January. And we are very much hoping that the whole COVID-19 situation will be different, and we will be able to expect our students back on campus by the end of January at least. We are looking at how we teach online. A lot of our lecturers are looking at doing live lectures, doing kind of maybe live shoots of labs and kind of presentations and things like that, and really making it interactive for students. Some of our lecturers are even sending out kind of kits for students to be able to build things within their own home, so that's going to be really fun for everybody, I think. And really it's just that we are such a very small community, both within SAMS and within Oban, so we want to protect our students, we want to protect our staff, and we want to protect our town. We're in quite a rural local area, so we just actually made that decision that even though maybe government guidance may change, as long as we've made that decision for a length of time, that's what we will stick to. And ourselves and the students all hope that come semester two, we'll be all back together again. So applying, if you're applying for a full-time place, we do offer the course on a part-time basis, but you have to be able to be obviously present at SAMS in a way to be able to take that in a part-time basis. But our full-time application is taken through UCAS. So our course code is UF710 to look for us, and we're under age 49, which is the UHI code. But again, if you type in marine science within UCAS, you'll be able to find us there, and that's the main way to apply. And you can do that now through clearing, and obviously in September when UCAS reopens again, you can apply for next year. Following on from this, progression at SAMS, Darcie talked about amazing careers that you can go on and do. A lot of our students are really drawn to research, mainly because they work so closely with our researchers here at SAMS. So many of our students do go on to further research, both with ourselves. We have some master's courses, both taught and research ones, based on our site. And also we have PhD opportunities. I was actually just counting the other day for something different and realised that approximately 10 of our 30 to 40 PhD students have actually been students at SAMS, either via our own course or via some of our master's courses that we've done, which is really amazing. And it obviously means that they both love being at SAMS and love the local area and things as well. So I hope I've covered everything. And again, if there's any way you want to contact us, that's popping up just now. And thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, Polly. I'm just going to finish up now. So we're well ahead of schedule, which is very exciting. That was very well done. I just want to say a big thank you to Darcie and Nadja for joining us today. You've done a stellar job there today. I feel like I didn't quite introduce you enough in the beginning, so just to let everyone know, Darcie and Nadja are our student ambassadors, which is a new programme that we started last year, and it gives the students an opportunity to work with our communications team here at SAMS UHI, doing all sorts of things from science outreach to doing webinars such as today, and this is the first time we've actually done something like this, so it's been a learning curve for me as well, and it's been a great experience for the students. But they come along to sort of uni fairs with us and do a lot of science communication, so there's opportunities like that in SAMS to get involved with our professional services teams as well as the researchers. So a big massive thank you to Nadja and Darcie for coming in off their student holidays and doing this today. You've been absolutely fantastic, and I know it is really nerve-wracking doing something like this, particularly in the early stages of your career. So I think you absolutely nailed it today, guys. Thank you very much for that. And a big massive thank you to everybody that's joined us today. I hope you found it really helpful and really useful. I noticed there are a lot of questions going back and forward there, so that's really great, and I really hope we've been able to answer your questions. So on the screen right now, oh, and also thank you to Arlene and Polly, obviously, thank you very much. So on the screen right now is some contact details. So we've got our email address there and our phone number, which is available Monday to Friday, I think 9 till 5. So as this is the open day today for UHI, we just want you to know that we are available now, today or tomorrow or in the future at any time to get in touch with us, and we'll try and answer your questions as best we can. Please follow us on Facebook. We're on Twitter and on Instagram as well. So if you give us a wee follow, it'll help you keep up to date with what's going on at SAMS, not just in the university side of things, but in our marine research work as well. So we've just launched a new strategy, which I think Nadja discussed, which she discussed in the beginning. So we've been doing a lot of work about working for an ocean in balance between blue economy and ocean conservancy. So it's worth checking that out if you are interested. I've also, Nadja and Darcie have very kindly given us their Instagram handles as well, which are on the screen at the moment, and they have said that they were more than happy for you to DM them and message them directly away from SAMS, so you can ask the real nitty-gritty questions if you want to, that you might not want to speak to us about. So they've agreed to, they're more than happy. They've got public pages on Instagram, so so please do get in touch. And if you've just had your exam results out, or if you're joining us today because you're interested in applying for the future, I just want to send you our best wishes for whatever career decisions you make, and I hope you will come to SAMS and join our very lovely family here. It's normally very well, the pictures that we've been showing are quite sunny. I think Nadja was talking about the weather yesterday, and today is very not sunny, so if you're looking at the webcams that are on our website, it's been quite grey, rainy days the last couple of days, but we'll be hopefully back to some sunshine soon. So thank you again. Just a reminder that you can watch this back. Go to the link that you went to join this webinar, and the recording should just play live. I'll also be sending out a survey to give you the opportunity to tell us what you thought of the event, how we might be able to improve the event for future prospective students as well that are joining us. So I can't go through everyone for a wee wave because there's too many of us. Our all-female team. There are men at SAMS as well, I must stress. We've got a team of 5 women today. But thank you very much, and thanks to our presenters and to all our attendees. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.